Movie notes. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2002 film, 30 July 2024 viewing. Here's the disc. I watched it yesterday, 30 July 2024. I'm filming this the next day, Wednesday, 31 July 2024. And I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. I'm Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. And this is, it'd been over a decade since I'd seen this movie, so it was fun to go back. My description for this viewing is a fiction film about a Greek woman falling in love and getting married to a non-Greek man, and the role of tradition/family in the marriage process and marriage itself. So it's really an emphasis on she's Greek, and she's very Greek. And so kind of her family and the role of that in the marriage process, in marriage. And it was an interesting one because I knew some Greek people growing up, and it propagates kind of a certain image of people being Greek. And I guess what's one very well-known and respected Greek surname that is old? I was like, well, a good example of that is in The Departed. There's a restaurant, a Greek restaurant with a very old and traditional Greek surname, family name, Pappas, Pappas. So if you haven't seen The Departed, that's in there. And so it's kind of like sometimes, you know, certain images and certain names that are very true to Greek culture are promoted in Hollywood for just how Greek they are. And so this is one that kind of goes after the culture angle. And I was like, it'd be interesting if Greek women found this a little bit of like, while, you know, the wedding invitations that the family orders without telling the bride-to-be had one of the husband-to-be's parents' names wrong, like, somebody took the initiative and went and got the wedding invitations, like, without her knowing, but, like, they also did that for her. So there's kind of a little bit of, like, I'm reading Dante's Inferno, like the Inferno by Dante, who was Italian, not Greek, right? And there's a little bit of, like, there's the opening of the gates, and, like, this movie is, like, kind of like, there's an opening of the gates with Greek culture, but it might not necessarily be, like, the gates one wants to open, but, like, it's still the gates that are opening. So it was, like, timely reading and watching. I was like, I had that concern with watching this movie when I was growing up, was I was like, I would hope that this doesn't make a complex in Greek women of, like, you know, if people don't hand them everything on a silver platter, even if it's wrong, right, then they're not Greek. They're going to say they're Italian or something like that. You know, if all of the people of this country aren't giving me what I want, I'm just going to lie and say I'm something else, you know? And so, like, I hope that didn't actually happen with Greek women, but for all I know, maybe it did. The fallout of this movie, they didn't get their big fat Greek wedding. Or are not getting it. And so I would hope that's not the case, but I think that's kind of, you know, if somebody's really young or not mentally fully developed or not really, doesn't really put together that, like, this is a Hollywood movie, so this is one portrayal of something, like, life doesn't have to be this way, kind of thing. They might struggle with that a bit. So, yeah. I did appreciate with this movie, so I'm not Greek in any part, I did appreciate that they chose a little bit of a, you know, it wasn't some teenager who fell in love. It was like, not an older woman, like 40s or 50s, but, like, not like Spring Chicken, like, as in, like, teeny bopper movie, rom-com kind of thing. Like, she was at least portrayed as a little bit older. So they did good on that, I thought, with the, yeah, and she wasn't like a size 2, you know, like, there was, I thought it did a really good job on the not hitting all the stereotypes, yeah, kind of thing. So for that, I think it did a really good job. And it's a fun watch, and it was fun to return to. It was still funny, so yeah. And it also brings up serious things, like, in the sense of, like, some people really want to have a say on their wedding day, but it kind of introduces the, like, you don't always get a say. Depending on who your family is, you might not get that much of a say on your wedding day. And so it kind of, I think it does a really eloquent job of raising the, well, some people get what they want, not everybody gets exactly what they want, right? Like, but there's still, like, it also doesn't mean it's a bad thing if you don't get exactly what you want, right? Like, the family means well, kind of thing. So I think it did an eloquent job of that. So those are my movie notes on My Big Fat Greek Wedding, 2002 film, 30 July 2024 viewing.